Welcome back to a rather breezy Perthshire in Scotland, and I am back out treasure hunting. So I had a thought, which is I should probably bulk these videos out a little bit by at the end maybe posting a little short video of one of my better finds over the last 22 years, tell you a little bit about it, so just an added bonus if we don't turn up any significant treasure today. So at the moment it's just me. I might be joined by one of the other guys. I've let them know that I'm out, so maybe we'll see one or more of them. And I'm going to go over to the far side of this field because thanks to Cleggy and his platform LiDAR program, he's flagged up a few bits and pieces in this field close to an old fort which dates back to around about 1080 AD. So let's have a hunt and see if they had any holes in their pockets. Well, it's a little bit faint, but it's worth a go. First hole, and we're straight in with a coin. One problem, it's another spendable. It's a 1p piece. Got another one just here. Yeah, not bad. Let's see what we get. It's here. What isn't there? It is there, look. Tiny bit of green. It is a little washer. A little copper washer. I think we might have some silver. Or aluminium. 3 spadefuls out, and do you see what I see? Right there, it's round and it looks silver A. It's a coin. It is a whopper of a coin. Look at the size of that. Look at the size of that. It is a half crown. 1922 by the looks of it. Looks in pretty good condition. And we have got what I think is George V. So I'm afraid I don't have any water, so that's as good as it's going to get. It's Georgius V, by the grace of God, King of the Britons. And on the back we have Defender of the Faith and Emperor of India. And it is a half crown of 1922. We've got the 3 lions of England, we've got the rampant lion of Scotland, we've got the harp of Ireland, and we've got the 3 lions of England again. England always seems to get 2 mentions, we only get 1. And poor old Wales, well, they don't even get a look in most of the time. So there we go, cracker, half a crown. A crown, oh, it's before my time. I'm a decimalisation boy. I'm sure a half a crown is an eighth of a pound. But back then a pound wasn't 100 pennies, it was something like 120 pennies, I think. I'm sure this is also sometimes called 2 shillings and 6pence. A shilling, I think, was 10 pence. So that would make it 26p, but that doesn't sound right. So answers on a postcard with that one. Well, there goes Martin. He's just got a photo about my silver coin. So he's hot-footed it down, see if he can get any. And another good signal here. Well, yeah, just shows you. It was once silver. It was once electroplate, nickel silver. See if we can see any maker's mark on it anywhere. I could just make out the letters EPNS. Electroplate nickel silver. There's more writing there, but I can't read it. It says, no, even my eyesight isn't that good. What does that say there? It says mapping and web. Mapping and web. Electroplate nickel silver. Now we're a bit erratic So either it's very shallow or it's a big lump of aluminium or tin foil. Let's see what we get. One spadeful out and straight away I caught a glimpse of green. So this is either going to be quite an old coin or it's going to ruin my day and it's going to be a button. So is there a shank on the back? Let's see. And the answer is no. So we have coin number 2, and I can tell you almost certainly that it is old, dates to the 1600s, and it is a turner or a 2p, copper 2p. The question is there any detail? So alas, I can just about make out the faint shape of a thistle in the centre. Don't know if either of you can, or any of you can, but it is, as suspected, it is a turner, which means it dates to either Charles I or Charles II, so it's somewhere between 1625 and I think it was 1685 that Charles II gave up the ghost. Well, this signal was a little bit ropey, but I've narrowed it down to whatever this thing is. Do you see this here? Let's break it open and see if it's going to be a coin or a button. Not wanting to open up properly. Let's see. Coin or button? It is a button. Damn you. Now here's the reverse. I think it says something along the lines of the Strand, London, so it's the same as that one that I got a couple of days ago with a deer on it. However, flip it over and the actual face of the button is missing, which is a shame because if it's got that stamp on the back it normally always means it's decorated on the other side, but there we go. Well, this signal sounds pretty good. It's pretty small whatever it is, but let's see what we get. Well, we're out the hole on the first spadeful. Do you see what I see? Is that a coin? A cut half? Or is it just a piece of metal that happens to look like a coin? Oh, I don't think it's going to be, it's too thick. See how thick it is? I think it's just a slither of metal. Let's ping that off. I'll tell you what, that might actually be a hammered coin. A fat hammered coin, but maybe a hammered coin. It is. That is a hammered coin. You beauty. Well, ladies and gents, have a look at that. That is a cut half. So that's a medieval silver penny. And because at the time there was no denominations of coins smaller, they used to cut them into halves and quarters and even eighths to buy smaller items. And that is going to be medieval. It's a short cross penny. On the other side, I can definitely make out the word Rex, R-E-X, which means the reign of. That little bit in the middle there, I think that's a face of a person. I think that's their ear or their hair. On the right hand side, that's their forehead at the tip there. And short cross pennies were in use for a relatively short period of time. This will be English, but they passed for currency in Scotland. So they were used between about 1150 and 1250 AD, which means that this coin, albeit half a coin, probably dates sometime between 750 and 850 years old. And it's probably going to be John, Richard, or Henry, one of the English kings, because they're the only kings who used them as far as I'm aware. You beauty. That is fantastic. So here we go, here's Pete's 3 best finds. On the right he's got a little lead seal, probably from a bale of flax. Looks like it's got the letters AI or AR or maybe AB. That's probably going to date sometime 1750s through to the 1850s. He's got a Georgian coin, I think. It's pretty toasted. It's probably an early one. It's a bit unusual shape. It's quite thin. Probably George the First, but it could even be William or William and Mary, which would put it back to the late 1600s into the early 1700s. And then best find of all, I think, this one here. This is a steelyard weight, and it is almost certainly Roman. So that could be sometime back to the 1st to the 4th centuries, and that would have been hung on one of these swing arm sets of scales called a steelyard, which would have been used to weigh goods. So brilliant, Pete, well done. I am back on the field, on the hammered field. I am joined by, on the left we have Pete, on the right we have Marty. And Marty has now got an Instagram, Medieval Marty Metal Detects, I think it's called. So go and give him a wee follow. Look at some of the photos and some of the videos of his best finds. So we've got an hour, maybe 2 hours, an hour and a half at a push before it gets dark. So let's see what we can turn up before then. I've been all around where the silver cut half came from earlier to no avail. There's a lot of iron in the ground though, so I don't know, maybe there's been some sort of building or farmstead here back in the day. First decent signal I've had in a while. It's not brilliant, but I'm going to give it a go. Deep one, this one. Took a fair amount of effort to find, but it seems to be out the hole. Ah, it's a big spoon bowl. It is. It's a big spoon bowl. Don't think it's particularly old, but it's a good size. Someone was eating big portions back then. So I got the fork earlier, got the bit of the spoon to match. Well, Marty's just a few feet away. He's got a couple of, look at that, he's in the cutlery as well. It's almost identical to my one, except he's got a handle. Well, you've got some writing on yours as well. Probably made in Sheffield. Let's see what we get. Yeah, too far gone, but it would probably say the name of the manufacturer and, oh no, in fact there's a wee bit there. Who knows, probably, it's obviously not silver anyway. And he's just, not moments ago, turned up a very nice lead seal, 1880. And it is from Russia. So this would have come over in the 1880 attached to bales of flax. I was hoping that with all the medieval activity and having got that cut half that we were going to be onto a bonanza, but finds have been almost non-existent. Signals indeed have been almost non-existent. This one's worth a go though. I spotted it in this clump straight away, and here it is. And that is, I think, part of a button. A tomback button. So these date to the 1700s into the start of the 1800s. Here's another one worth a shot. Out in the second hole, sounding a bit iffy. I've not got high hopes with this one. There we go. What have we got? Bit of a button? Not even that. It is just a random piece of metal. Although it does look like it's silvered or tinned on the inside. And is that an edge? That's an edge. It's got a sort of bowl shape to it. Let's give it a wee rub up, see if we can get anything else. So it's actually silvered on both sides. So it does look slightly bowl-shaped. However, I think it's a spoon, part of a spoon that's been silver-plated. That's what I think. So that's the spoon bowl. And if you see, it's got a kind of curving edge, which makes me think it is the shape of a spoon. Well, what is it Cleggy calls these? A muus tubeus or something like that. So these are antibiotic little tubes, give off a great signal like a silver coin. I think I've actually had, this is 6 of these I've had so far today. Normally I don't really get many of them, but clearly there were some sick cows in this field at some point. Have I got my long-awaited coin? So much for a coin. It's another Tubius Maximus, or whatever the phrase is. I thought I probably had another mu tube, or a Tubius Maximus. And I think I can see something here. So I didn't film it until I spotted this, which to me, I think we might have another hammered coin. I think we do have another hammered coin. Well, that saved the day. Martin's just joined me at the right moment. I've got a coin. Looks like I've got a wee Charles. Lovely wee clawed imprint there. That's Pete away. He's had enough. He's obviously got a pocket full of gold and he's disappeared. So here's Martin's best find of the afternoon. Got himself a little thimble. Probably not particularly old. 1800s into the early 1900s, but still, it's a find. Almost complete, just a little bit of damage on the corner, so it's doing not bad for bouncing about in a field for probably more than 100 years. Well, it's the last find I think of today for me. It is a little hammered copper Scottish coin called a turner, which was a 2p piece. And on there would have been a little thistle with leaves on one side, and on the reverse would have been the letters C and R for Charles Rex. Around the edge it would say Nemo me impune lacessit in Latin. So this is the second one of these I've had from this field today. Would date sometime between 1625 and 1680s. It's just a real shame that around that period a lot of the coins in Scotland were made of copper and not silver, because if they were made of silver we'd be having silver hammered coins every day of the week. Well, as promised, here is one of my best metal detecting finds over the last 22 years. Now, this is a Roman denarius of the Emperor Vespasian, and he ruled between 69 and 79 AD. Around the outside edge are the letters CAES for Caesar, and then VESP for Vespasian, and then Augustus, PM, and then just worn off at the end would be COS, COS 1111, so that means the 4th year of his reign. So this dates to between 72 and 73 AD. The reverse is even more worn, unfortunately. You can make out a standing figure and the letter V on the left and the letter A on the right. It would have originally said Vesta, and Vesta was the virgin goddess of the hearth, the home and the family in Roman religion. So they often put these religious and goddess and god figures on the reverse of their coins. So Vespasian was quite an incredible life. He served under the Emperor Nero, and he also was one of the commanders of one of the legions when Britain was invaded in 43 AD. So the Romans invaded Scotland around about 71 AD, and on the death of Nero, in 68 AD, there was a little bit of a typically Roman power struggle. Three people, Galba, Otho and Vitellius, all challenged to become the next emperor of the Roman Empire. And when the dust settled, Vespasian was victorious. He later went on to found or to begin the construction of the Colosseum in Rome. And unfortunately for him, it wasn't completed by the time of his death, but it was opened the year later. So there's a good chance that this coin came to Scotland with the Roman legions when they invaded from 71 AD, and it was lost or given as a gift by the Romans to the local population. An incredible coin, and I've been fortunate enough to find quite a number of Roman silver denarii over the years, but this one will always remain my favourite.